So as you can see, I've been really filling out this arrangement with some inexpensive elements. We've got a lot of different kinds of greens, some berries, we've got Queen Anne's lace, a lot of what we call filler, and we have a little bit of lysianthus as well, another sort of more wild and abundant flower. And when you're considering the cost, you have to really think about what part of the country you're in, what flowers might be local there, what flowers are going to require shipping in from somewhere abroad. Most of the flowers that you see here are going to be common and found anywhere, especially things like greens. It doesn't really matter what green you use, it's just something that's local and that fills out and that looks interesting to you. So the main idea is to really fill out an arrangement as much as possible with this filler and the greens, and you have this great structure in which to put these more expensive flowers, the roses. But you know, things can really range, and when you're thinking about price point for an inexpensive arrangement, you might walk into a floral shop and want to spend $20, $25 on an arrangement. Something like this, where you don't have too many expensive feature flowers, might be in the range of $25 to $35. That might be a reasonable cost. And then maybe you add 3 or 4, maybe even 5 to 10 of these more feature flowers to the arrangement. And it could be anywhere from $35 to $45 depending. Again, you don't have to use roses, you could use something like a daisy. Anything that when you walk around and see in a market, in a farmer's market, in a bodega, those kinds of flowers are always good to find if you're going into a florist shop and say to yourself, okay, well, I know that I've seen tulips at my local grocery store, so that means that if I walk into the flower shop, I know that they're not going to be too expensive, and as long as they're not exotic French tulips that have been shipped in from somewhere. So that's something to consider for price point. And then, you know, you also want to make sure that you're coming to a shop that seems to be in general within your price point. So you know, a place that does mostly events and weddings, or that has very fabulous, fancy window displays. They might be looking at a higher price point customer, and that's not where you want to go for your $25 bouquet of flowers. So I'm just filling in, and you can fill in really once you have this structure any way you want. So I like to sometimes sort of cluster a few things, and especially if you're using only a few feature flowers, that's a nice way to give it some heft. So we cluster the roses. I do spin the arrangement because although it's mostly that we're looking at the arrangement from the front here, I want it to be finished in back as well. So maybe I'll take some of these roses and cut them down a little bit so that if somebody saw it from the back, it would look just as nice. And you can see that with really gorgeous open, more expensive blooms, it still looks, even though we've only used about 10 of them, it still looks pretty substantial. And so that's how you make a floral arrangement that's not too expensive.